Great, let's get started, okay? So, what we're going to do is you are going to draw your three initials. Once again, the initials are the first letter of each of your three names. Hey, some of you may have more than three, just choose three. My wife has 5 names on her birth certificate. Don't ask me why, but she does. So, but most people have 3. So, you know those. You know your 3 names. What we're going to do is we're going to draw the letters on a piece of colored construction paper, and you're going to probably make them about 4 inches tall. You can't make them too tall, or they'll be so flimsy they're not gonna stand up, right? And so that's very, very important to not make them too big. Another thing that I want you to think about before we start cutting or drawing, this needs to be done a little bit slow, especially when you start cutting them out, because it's really kind of important that you get a real clean edge around these letters. So you're going to need to slow down, and when you start using the scissors, you take your time and cut them out slowly, okay? How many of you out there have ever seen a picture of the Hollywood sign in Hollywood, California? It's like this giant white word that says Hollywood, and it's up on a hill, a really tall hill, and you can see it's a landmark in Los Angeles, California. And what it is, it's flat letters that are, oh my God, they're two stories high. They're really, really large. But each one of them stands up. They're flat, but they stand up. They're not what I would consider true 3-dimensional letters, but it's called a stand-up format on these letters. So, got your letters, you know your letters. Choose a colored construction paper. You can do them any color you want. They don't have to be, like mine. You can do them in any other color. So let's begin drawing. Okay, get your scissors and your paper. Remember what I said a moment ago about they can't be too tall? So what I would suggest you do is take a full sheet of construction paper, right? And not cut this in half, make it shorter than half. Make this into the height of your letters. So if you want to do a background, let's say, like I'm doing in orange, what you might want to do is you might want to cut these into 3s that are about the same thickness. Again, they don't have to be the same thickness, right? And from this, now this is really important. If you don't do this step, you're not going to have letters that stand. On each one of your letters, you need to have what I call a tab. And what that is I'll put my first again. Here's a P. Here we go. That's a letter P. And what I'm going to do with that, I'm going to put a tab, what I call a tab, on the very bottom of your letter. Each one of your letters has to have this tab, and I'll show you why. I'm going to cut this out real quick. I tell you, I've done this hundreds of times, and I still forget to put my tab in. Okay, cut it out. You fold this tab backwards, and what you're going to end up doing is you are going to end up gluing the bottom of that so it stands straight up in the air. Got that? It's really, really important to put that tab. So make sure that when you use one of these pieces of paper that you cut out, you leave enough to do a tab. Like let me show you, let me do this one more time. Here is my D. So you got my D, and I got my little tab there. There we go. Push that tab back, fold it real good. You're going to glue that, and it's going to stand straight up. Okay? It's relatively and hey, and if you make a mistake and you don't put a tab on, that's an easy fix. You can take a spare thing of construction paper, fold it, glue it to the back, so you have a tab. It's just easier if you can remember to put the tab on each one of these things, okay? So, that's it. Now let me do this again, okay? Let me cut another one out just to show you again. I can do this without drawing it because I've done this for so many years, right? I'm pretty good at there we go. Fold it. Pretty easy. So, what I would like for you to do, if you haven't started already, you don't have to do like all the first cuts in one color. You can use different colors, like you can do an orange, and and another thing that you can do is you can cut out strips of paper like I did over here and glue them just to make them, more interesting looking, right? Okay. Okay, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to make your background. And I'm going to call this the bottom one, which is horizontal. Horizontal, if something's horizontal, it's flat and it goes from side to side. If it's vertical, it's also flat, but it goes up and down. It's two different kinds of directions there. So what I'm going to want you to do is when you get your piece of color, don't use the same colors, right? Don't put orange letters on an orange background. Use a different color. And so what I'm going to do here is instead of using the whole paper, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the floor a little bit thicker than my background, the vertical. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this like that. Okay. Okay. Really, really important. This is very important. What you're going to need to do is you are going to need to, when you glue this, now some of you that works with glue before, that kind of a thing, you already know this. But for those of you that haven't experienced a lot of glue stick stuff, especially on construction paper. You have to put a lot of glue on this tab. And what I know, and this is going to sound really gross, but it tells you exactly what you need to do, is you need to leave a big hunk of a glue booger on the bottom of this tab, right? So when you place it, what you do is you need to really press it down, hold it a little bit, because I tell you what, if it doesn't hold, if you don't get enough glue on there, it's not going to work. It's going to fall apart, right? Now, another thing I want to show you real quick, just in case, let's say you have put this on and it's still not standing right. What I suggest you do is to make a stand-up brace. And what this stand-up brace is, it's a little long piece of triangle. You bend a little bit of it like this. Once again, lots and lots of glue. And what you're going to do is you are going to make a brace behind it. So you glue it just like that. Put a little glue right here too. Make sure that the letter is standing up correctly. And put a brace on it. Right? This is really, really kind of simple, but this is a brace. In fact, the Hollywood sign is all about bracing. When you look at it from the back end of it, it's all done with all kind of bracing so it doesn't fall over. And so that's kind of how you do it. And listen, the cool thing about this is that you don't have to do letters. I had one of my kids did a dinosaur scene. He cut out dinosaurs with a volcano in the background. Use your imagination on this. This is just one of those things that, this is just a basic idea that if you have a great imagination, you can really, really go for it and have a good time with it. Okay, I'm going to put another letter down. And one of the things that kids ask me all the time when we do this in person is they go, these look like pop-up books, right? We all know what pop-up books are. This is kind of the same thing, or pop-up cards. This is just one of the things that was kind of I don't know, it was I think the cards came first, right? They came first. They've been making pop-up cards. You know, when you open them up, things kind of come out and stuff. They have made pop-up books, I want to say, for about 200 years. And so the idea of, in Europe, especially in France and in England, but they made pop-up cards that they gave to each other, and boy, were they really, really elaborate. This isn't really elaborate. Once again, this is something that simple idea in theory, but you could make some really, really cool kind of three-dimensional looking art scenes. And again, the thing is that these should be seen kind of at eye level. How's everybody doing out there? Are you getting this? I'm sure you have. This is a project that the kids I work with have always really loved. Listen, I appreciate you coming today. It's not too bad outside. It's sunshiny. Get out there, have a good day, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.